So here we are on the Columbia River of all places. This is a place that's been on my bucket list for so many years. I got invited to come down with my good friend here, Brian Bell. Brian lives here, he's fished this his whole life. He's telling me about the big walleyes that swim here. We're going to be kind of mixing it up, fishing some deep fish, some shallow fish, doing all kinds of different things to try and catch a monster walleyes that swim in this system. The state record was caught here not too far back, 2014, a little bit over 20 pounds. So to say I'm excited is is an understatement. So join us here on the Columbia River as we're in search of the next bite.
The Columbia River has become well known as the place to go to potentially catch the walleye of a lifetime. Although it may not be that easy to catch a giant fish, the average size is rather impressive. Jason and Brian have chosen early winter to fish the Columbia River to try and increase their chance of catching a giant walleye. Being from Wisconsin, the first thing Jason had to figure out was where to even start on such an expansive body of water.
There we go.
Got one?
Yep, get the net, Brian. Yep, he crushed it. I'm thinking probably a 4 or 5 pounder. Yeah, he's pulling good.
Oh, that's a good fish.
Yeah, that feels really good. Such deep water, I don't know if it's, I don't know how big these are here in this deeper stuff. But
We should get the bigger fish in the deeper water.
there he comes. Looks like he's running at me, he kind of
Yeah.
stopped. All right, now he's coming.
Yeah, he's coming.
Yeah, 60, there he is. Nice
there's a
one.
good
Get him.
fish.
Get him. Nice. Nice. That felt good for a nice,
How's that? That'll work,
nice
huh?
blade bait bite. Want to grab those
Not
pliers?
bad for the first one of the day.
Yeah, that's a good one. He's in there good. Yeah, he choked it. Roof of the mouth. Nice. Nothing too crazy there, just a silver blade bait. Oof. Let me get my hand out of his gills there. There we go. Oh, he's lively. Nice cold water, but what a nice Columbia River fish, right?
Perfect.
Just
Yep, that's about what we like to see, average fish. For,
a great build. I mean, these fish, I was wondering what kind of colors they are here. They're kind of goldish.
Yeah, nice thick bodies, thick
Yeah,
heavy shoulders on them.
not pale by any means. And
Nope.
what a
Nice,
good-
healthy fish.
What a great, I mean, just fun, man, when you're casting and they just crush it and you set on them. But we
Yep.
gotta let this girl go and
We'll
crack
go
a
get
few
another
more
one.
of these good ones.
Hopefully find her big sister,
Find her
big brother.
sisters, yes. Yeah, that feels good. Come on, girl. It's cold water, they should be fine. There she goes. She's good. Nice.
All right, so we're out here fishing the Columbia River in eastern Washington, the Tri-Cities area. The Columbia flows through Washington State from the Canadian border out to the Pacific Ocean. In the Tri-Cities, the Snake River and Yakima rivers all flow into the Columbia right here in the Tri-Cities. And we're just doing a typical slow presentation, winter presentation for these fish. Glide baits, jig and plastic, slow down the presentation and trying to entice these fish to bite. We have open water all winter. It's cold out this time of year. The water temperatures drop down into the 40s and can get as low as the 30s. So just slow presentation, and this is the time to catch the big ones.
The next bite is brought to you by Mercury Marine. Go boldly. Schaefer's Specialized Lubricants. Putting equipment first. Tracker Boats. Fish the finest. Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's. Your adventure starts here. Berkeley. Catch more fish. And Power Pole Total Boat Control. Closed captioning for the next bite is provided by Precision Trolling Data, the authority for crankbait diving depth information. The walleyes in the Columbia River are very similar to walleyes in current areas in the Midwest. As opportunistic feeders, the walleyes will use the current as a food supply chain and wait in areas with slack water because the bait will be brought right to them by the current. Most of the time, you can see these current breaks by looking at the surface of the water. Ripples and boils can be signals of current moving differently. In the Columbia River, these areas are often deep, and you may not be able to see current changes on the surface.
So we're out here fishing on the Columbia River out west. In the fall season and winter season, we're looking for shallow flats, shelf areas where the fish can get up in the evening time, early morning, get out of the current, rest and feed. And then as the sun comes up during the day, or the cloud cover, however it is, they tend to run a little deeper. And if you can find an area that has that nice shallow 5 to 10 foot shelf, sand in particular, if you can find that, that's right adjacent to a nice deep drop, a nice deep shelf that drops into 30, 40, even 50 feet of water. Those fish tend to hang right at the bottom of the drop. They're trying to get out of the current, which in the Columbia River runs between 1.3 and 1.6 miles an hour on average, depending on what the dams are doing. You might look at your maps, use your electronics. It may not necessarily be an inside corner or an outside corner on the surface of the shoreline, but there may be an underwater island, underwater structure that creates that inside corner or outside corner against the current that those fish will sit in and rest against. You also want to look and keep in mind, not all the time, but sometimes during the year when it rains heavy in the mountains or we get warmer weather, it heats up in the spring, we get some melting and snow melt and runoff, and it tends to stain the water. So look for edges of tributaries, where the rivers come in, that type of thing, where there might be a mud line that you can fish that mud line. That makes a big difference, and those fish tend to hang right along that mud line. There's one.
Got him, huh, Brian?
Got him.
I'll be right there, Brian.
Yep, we'll need a net for this one for sure, Jason.
Gotta reel this in. I love it when you say it's a good fish.
Yeah, it'll take a little bit to get this one in.
Nice. Ooh, she wants to go to the trolling motor. There she is. There I got her. Oh, forgot to extend it. Nice. What are you using there?
That's a local jig called a whistle pig. It's a swim bait jig with a prop behind it.
Right on.
And we're just using a little swim bait behind it as an attractant.
Sweet.
And you can tell they love that swim bait.
Look at that thing. 4 pounder, 5 pounder?
Yeah, let's get 4.5.
Yeah.
Nice fish.
Well, is that gonna be like an average fish out here on the Columbia, or what?
Yeah, exactly. This is what we get most every day out here on the river. You get some smaller ones, but this is probably our average fish.
Nice.
Yep.
That's super sweet fish. Somehow I cut myself. I don't know if it was on that last fish or what, but I'm bleeding.
You're bleeding?
All right, let's let her go.
Well, let's put her back, and we'll see if we can go get a bigger one yet. Right down she goes.
Nicely done. Nice.
Total Control, presented by Power Pole. 20 years of trust evolved from Total Boat Control.
Hey guys, Berkeley Pro John Hoyer, and I want to clear the air on a topic that used to bother me, and that was people telling me I needed to use a certain hook. Well, I've kind of progressed in my fishing career far enough and hung out with enough successful anglers to realize that all those times those guys were telling me about what hook to buy, they were actually trying to help me. So I'm here to tell you that the Berkeley Fusion 19 hook is definitely the sharpest hook I've ever found. This is my game day hook. When I'm fishing a tournament for say $100,000, I'm always switching out the hooks before I go fish for a lot of money. So one thing you'll see in a boat of a successful tournament angler is a box that's completely dedicated to hooks. In here I got all the different sizes of EWG trebles, the standard Fusion 19 trebles, and a lot of the octopus hooks also. And I will make sure that any bait that I'm using before a tournament has a hook switched out. They're razor sharp and they're ready to go. One thing I've realized about really successful tournament anglers versus ones that kind of finish middle of the pack is the guys on the top, they don't have a lot of stories about fish getting off. And I finally found out the little secret for myself, and that is how sharp your hooks are. So next time you're out fishing, pay attention to that old favorite crankbait that's in your tackle box with the rusty hooks. Throw some new ones on there. Or if you're getting ready for a tournament, go over every bait that you're using and make sure it's got brand new Fusion 19 hooks on it.
Many times when casting for walleyes, you have your mind on one set technique. But in many situations, being versatile with your techniques can really help catch a lot of fish. This is why you see a lot of different rods and bait laying on the deck of Jason's boat. One fish might want a jig in a plastic, but the next fish might want a glide bait.
There we go. Yeah.
Got it?
Yeah. She hit way behind the boat here. Yeah, I'll get the net. It's not bad. There she is. She's coming up underneath, Brian.
Underneath the boat?
Yeah, she's right underneath. Ready?
Yep.
Yep. There we go. That's not bad.
That'll work, huh?
That's a good one.
That's a good
Set
fish.
her right here. Whew. Yeah, that's a solid one. Like 4 or 5 pounder, huh?
Yep. Another, but a good solid Columbia River walleye. It's what we're used to catching out here. So.
I was just kind of pitching up on that bank.
Yep.
That flat where it was up on top and that 10, 20 foot ledge right up there.
Right, yep.
And yeah, she just cracked it.
Right up along that edge, right where they should be.
Swinging it right behind the boat, just kind of letting it drift down and just lifting and popping, and there she is. God, dang, that's a nice fish, huh?
Nice fish.
Solid, I love it.
Yep.
That was on a jigging plastic, just keep switching it up.
Just keep changing up. Yep.
Give
All
them
jigging stuff, but just keep changing. You
Yep.
finally get them.
Give them the smorgasbord. They'll eat
That's it. That's
That's
right.
right. All right, let's let her go, buddy.
Sounds good.
Nice, there she goes. So the 3 main presentations that we're using to try and target these walleyes out here on the Columbia River. Number 1 is early in the morning and later in the evening. When these fish decide to slide up on these bars and get up on that, 10, 15 foot shelves, just a simple plastic and a jig head. I'm using something in that 3 to 4 inch range with a paddle tail, just keeping it very simple, just a black jig head with a white tail, just to mimic all the forage in this system. I'm going to cast these things out, casting downriver, let the bait swing naturally along the edge of that break, and then once it gets off the break, reel it back in and repeat that cast. Now during the midday, we like to, as those fish slide down off those breaks into that deeper water when the sun comes up high, we kind of give them a 1-2 approach. One of us will be using something with a glide bait. These are heavy baits, 3/4 ounce, 1 ounce baits, to drop this straight to the bottom and work it vertically. And we're talking about 40 feet of water on average. So you're gonna need a heavier bait to get it down there. And then this time of year, you don't want to get too aggressive with it. You just want to give it a quick little pop and just hold it. Let it hover, quick little pop and hover. So one guy is going to be using probably a glide style bait like that, and then the other guy just using a simple jig and night crawler. The bait out here you can use is only a night crawler. We can't use leeches and we can't use minnows. So we just simple jig, 3/4 ounce, something pretty heavy, get it down there vertically, work it really slow off the bottom. Boat control is the key. Keeping everything vertical during the day, slow jigging motions as you work down, and as it gets low light conditions, go back to the jigs, work your way up the break, pitch them downriver and let them swing. Do those 2 or 3 different tactics out here and you can catch these Columbia River walleyes. Got her? Yep. Hang on. Slow her down. Take your time.
Yep.
Okay, good one.
It's a good one.
Oh yeah,
There she is.
Nice, nice, nice. That's kind of a nice feeling when we just pulled up to the spot and you caught one right away.
Yep. Right on the shallow edge like we've been talking about.
Yeah, on the tip of this bar, just a little bit of a current seam going on, and you know, we've been running around trying to find these fish, and to come here, I'm kind of excited actually.
Yeah, they're a little spread out today, but there's lots more here.
Yeah,
I think there's a lot more to get.
Solid 4.5 pounder probably. Yep. But let's let her go, buddy.
Sounds good.
All right.
Let's get another one.
Oh, nice fish. Lots of current. There she goes.
The next bite is brought to you by Mercury Marine. Go boldly. Schaefer's Specialized Lubricants, putting equipment first. Tracker Boats, fish the finest. Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's, your adventure starts here. Berkeley, catch more fish. Lowrance, find, navigate, dominate. And Power Pole Total Boat Control. Hot topics, leading information and tackling techniques to make you a better angler. Presented by Mercury.
On today's boats, we have a lot of tools and a lot of accessories. And what I like to do is try to utilize them the best I can. And one thing I like to do a lot, I think is overlooked, is I like to basically dictate how I approach an area based off of the tools that I'm going to use. And one thing in shallow water that I really like to do is utilize my power pole. And with today's forward-facing sonar like Active Target, I can't utilize that when I'm using an anchor mode or a spot lock on my bow mount. And so what I like to do is either if I catch a fish or I'm coming up to an area, a rock pile or a weed edge, is I always facing downwind. And what this allows me to do with only one power pole is when I get to that area or I get that fish on, all I simply do is power pole down. I have the foot pedals up here in the front, and I can drop the anchor down, and I can simply keep my boat facing downwind, so I can really fine-tooth comb that without having basically coming from downwind. If I power pole down, my boat is going to pivot itself all the way back around. And so with being power pole down right now, I can still scan with Active Target facing the same direction here. And a lot of times I can stay on that school of fish or keep making that repeated cast that I may have just caught a fish. So, you know, keeping in mind the direction that you approach these areas, a lot of times can make you a lot more efficient, and obviously at the end of the day, put a lot more fish in the boat.
With the average size being pretty big on the Columbia River, it really is a fun place to fish.
Got her?
Got her. Keep at it today and we'll get them here in the next couple hours.
Although it's not always a slam dunk to put a trophy class fish in the boat, it's definitely a place that increases your chances of catching that fish of a lifetime.
Got one. Brian.
Got one?
This is a big one, Brian. This is a big one. And she is heavy. I can't tell with all this current, but she's heavy. This is the right one,
This
Brian.
is the right one. This is the one we're looking for.
Man, with this current. There's my leader. There she is. Oh my God, get her, Brian. Get her. Oh, yes. Holy cow, that's our biggest fish of the trip. On the jig and worm.
On the jig and a worm.
Oh my God, stinger hook.
Pliers for that?
Yeah, we might. Open your mouth, fish.
Oh yeah, she's excited.
Open up. Can you get her?
Got her.
Push her straight down.
There we
There
go.
we go. Oh my Lord. You've showed me most of this river system the last couple days, and it's been just up and down. We've caught fish shallow, we've caught fish deep. Oh, this is the same stuff we just caught our last fish on, a shallow little bar pitching jigs. Probably 15 feet of water, I would say, somewhere right in there.
Yep, about 15 feet.
Oh man, I can't actually thank you enough for having me out here. We talked this summer, and I said, Brian, if you invite me over to that Columbia River, I'm gonna fly over and catch some of these fish, and here she is. So
you're welcome anytime. We love having you guys out here.
So awesome.
It's fun fishing too, isn't it?
It is. It's so cool, this Columbia River. I'll definitely be back. Let's let her go, buddy.
Sounds good. Let's go get another one.
Woo! Oh, a beautiful fish. Woo! Look what he did to me. Look at this. Look what he did to me. Why he flipped me around and snagged me up? You dirty little buggers.
You need that?
Yeah, I'll net them because my hands, I got gloves on. Sardina thinks these are big. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, glide bait works. What was it, like 40 feet of water?
42 feet, yep.
So yeah.
Yep.
He actually crushed it. You know, we're drifting down here at like 0.7 miles an hour, just working down this break.
Right, just coming right down the contour line.
Not doing anything crazy with it either, just kind of
really nice, slow, easy.
Bang, and then it just smokes it.
Just a finesse jig and not a really violent jig, yep.
Yeah, you don't want to get too aggressive when you're in the fall and winter periods like that. The fish aren't.
The Next Bite would like to thank Redline Hotel in Kennewick, Washington. From East Coast to West Coast, Redline Hotels get you closer to all the action. Whether you're traveling for work or fun, you can count on genuine service, restful sleep, and a great local knowledge. For more information about Redline Hotels, please call 509-783-0611 or visit redlion.com. That's redlion.com.